Good morning. Well, have a seat and get ready for the Mini-Moth. Now, I had a friend when I was in college, and one day he said to me, "Let's ride our bikes across the country." I thought about it for a minute, and I said, "Sure." So I went and told my mother. She said, "You're not going to do that. What are you going to eat?" My friend said, "Well, we'll eat tuna fish." My mother said, "Sam doesn't like tuna fish." I got to like tuna fish. I rode my bike across the country. Friends get us to do things that we never even knew we wanted to do. Today, our theme is friendship, and I'm really excited about this inaugural performance of the Mini-Moth. I want to start by saying to everybody who stood up in front of your own classes and looked your classmates in the eye and told them a story, thank you for that courageous effort. It's scary to get up in front of an audience. It's a little scary to be in front of the audience right now. But you all took that chance and you stood up in front of your class and you told a story, and now we've selected a few to share again here in front of the entire lower school, and I think that's pretty exciting. With that in mind, I want you to show the love for our first speaker, who, by the way, has volunteered through the flip of a coin to be the #1 speaker, which is the most exposed and most precarious position. Would you all give a great Shore Country Day School welcome from 5th grade? Here is Brook Schatz. It's also scary to adjust the mic. Here.
All right, so one weekend over March break, my friend Holly, her parents were going snowmobiling, and she decided to come to our house for 2 nights, and this is what happened. So the first day, she just came back and she unpacked, and we hung out for a little bit, and then we decided we would go to a water park. And when we went there, we saw all of these crazy slides, and of course the first thing that we wanted to do was go on the lazy river. And so we just hung out for a little bit, and then we went on the gigantic tube slide, and there was either a 1-person tube or a 2-person tube, and we decided to go down the 2-person. And I had been with my sister and her friend before, and what they had done was one of them had fell off and kind of held on, and the other one was just on it, and they kind of went down the slide with just the 1 person kind of falling in front of them. And so what ended up happening was my friend Holly, I told her that I was going to do it, and she was like, "No, don't do it," because she was too scared. And so I was like, "Holly, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it." And then I ended up doing it. She's like, "Ah!" And so once that was done, we went back, and we decided to go on the way back to make posters because we were going to an event this summer together, and we decided to make posters for the event. And once that was done, we kind of got the posters, and then we were like, I don't really want to make the posters now. And so we just headed back to my room, and we got kind of settled to go to sleep. But if you guys have ever had a friend over, it's kind of hard to get to sleep, so we ended up kind of jumping on my bed and doing everything and procrastinating sleep until 2 in the morning. And then we decided to go to sleep. And we woke up at 6, and we were like, we only got 4 hours of sleep, but then we couldn't get back to sleep. So that day we were pretty tired and we decided to go to the mall, and we went and we got all of these, we went to Bath and Body Works first, and we decided that there were a bunch of cool hand sanitizers, and I was trying one, and I started to wash my hands off, and then the store person came up to me and said, "That's the dirty water." And yeah. My hands were covered in a bunch of different hand sanitizers, and so that happened, and for the rest of the day, my hands smelled like, well, everything. And so we went after, we just hung out, we went to the food court, we got a bunch of candy, but we forgot to make sure that we were allowed to get candy, so we kind of spent the rest of our money on candy, and that was a lot of candy. We each had $10, and so we spent $20 on candy. And what happened after that was we went back and we decided to finish the posters, and I think they came out really well. And that night we were so exhausted that we got to sleep right away. And when we woke up, we were both kind of sad because she had to leave. And so I helped her pack, and we went back in our car, and we met her mom at Market Basket. Then after that, she went home. But I was really happy because that weekend we really got a chance to bond and kind of become closer, and I think that is what happened. And so now I'm so happy that I had that opportunity because now she's one of my best friends.
That's Brook Schatz, ladies and gentlemen, from 5th grade. Congratulations. Yes, indeed. Time spent with friends doing crazy things. Do you remember it for a lifetime? Next up, from 2nd grade, would you welcome Presley Jacobson?
Hi, I'm Presley. So this story is called Stand Partner. So I play the violin, and this year I recently joined an orchestra. It was a little nerve-wracking at first though. I had to do a bunch of auditions with my conductor Peter Jorbis. Well, the very first day of practice I was a nervous wreck. I didn't want a mean stand partner, a too nice stand partner, or an annoying stand partner. A stand partner is somebody that you sit next to and share your music with. Well, luckily, I did not get any of those kind. Instead, I got Sarah. Sarah and me became amazing friends since the second we met. We shared every week. When I get there early, I see her sitting in the hallway with a new book. I call it her book of the week. Besides playing my pieces and learning new notes on the violin, she's part of the main reason that I enjoy going to orchestra. We share book opinions, laugh, talk. We have so much fun together. That's why I chose her to be the main, and also lots in common. That's why I chose her to be the main subject of my story. The end. Thank you.
I think we all want to avoid the annoying stand partner. Next up, we're going to have a combined story. We have 2 first graders coming up to tell us about how they met each other. And so would you welcome Emma Babcock and Emily Collins.
Hi, my name is Emily. Hi, my name is Emma. And this is the story of how we became best friends. It started out here at Shore. I walked into the readiness classroom and I saw Emma playing with her dad. And it was my first year of school, and I was very nervous because being around all these people that I have never met. So I didn't asked if Emma wanted to play with me, I just walked away. I saw Emily too. I really wanted to play with her, but I just kept playing. But then I remembered I was a very, very, very brave girl. So I walked up to Emily and said, "Do you want to play with me?" My answer was yes. And after that, we've been playing with each other for a long time. We've been talking during snacks and playing during choice time and recess, and we've been having a lot of play dates. And it comes a few years forward to where we are now.
I know we've all been in that moment when you walk in the room and say, who's going to be my friend here? And you walk up and then get a little nervous and walk away. Congratulations, girls, on a great friendship and a great story. Next, from 3rd grade, would you welcome Graham Ellis?
One day, I was going home from school and I saw my friend Grayson's dad coming in to pick him up. So and I'm good friends with Grayson, so I asked him, does Grayson have anything after school? Or so can he come over to my house? And so he was like, no, he doesn't have anything. Why don't you go in and ask him? So I go in and ask him, and obviously Grayson says yes. And so Grayson has his lacrosse stick in the back of his dad's car, so he gets it. And so when we get home, we decide we want to go play catch with our lacrosse sticks. So we're going outside, and I was like, and I have an ice rink in my backyard, and underneath it is a sport court. So we go outside, and I was like, hey, I want to see how the ice is melting, because we want to be able to play on the sport court, because it's too warm to play hockey, but it's still a little too cold to play, to take off the tarp that holds the water to freeze it, kind of. And so we went over to check on it, and we found that there was a humongous sheet of ice, right in the middle, kind of. And it was still thick enough to hold you. But that was the only spot where there was ice. So we start playing catch on the ice. I make a pass, and because we're using a tennis ball, it's kind of bouncy, and so it goes off Grayson's stick and into the water, and we're like, oh no, how are we going to get the tennis ball? So what we do is, first we try pushing it to the side of the rink, and because it's a sport court, there's netting around the side, so if you're shooting basketballs and you miss the net or the backboard, then it won't go out of the sport court. So anyways, we take a bunch of pucks I have out there and start trying to throw them at the tennis ball from an angle so it pushes them to the boards. And we finally got the tennis ball close enough, and so we start trying to climb the netting over and reaching down to get it. And every time we're 2 inches away or 1 inch, and we can never get it. So one time I'm trying to go get it, and then I realize I'm about to fall. So I tried jumping back onto the ice, but my jump was a little short. I hit my knee, but I make it onto the ice, so there's a lot of blood everywhere. And so I say, hey, I'm gonna go out inside and change. So I get out of my school clothes and get into comfy clothes and change my shoes into boots. So as I go back down to our rink and see that Grayson's just kind of waiting there, I'm like, you're trying this and I'm not trying anymore. So I So we walk around and so Grayson starts and he's like right over it. And like, he's like, no, I don't want to reach down. I don't want to fall. He's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, man. Just reach down. And he's like, no, I don't want to. So he climbs back and I'm like, no, I'll do this one more try. One more try. So I start climbing. And halfway through, as I feel like, oh gosh, I feel like I'm going to fall again, I'm like, oh no. And then Grayson's like, wait, you have boots on, they're waterproof. You can just step in the water and get the ball out. So I go in, pick up the ball, and then we had to pick up all the pucks. But the water was like so cold. But first I let Grayson borrow my old pair of boots. And so then we picked them up, but the water was so cold that our hands got numb, so there was still a couple of pucks left in the water. And we were like, so we started trying to use our other hand. And so we eventually got out all the pucks, and then we went inside and had dinner and the ends, I guess.
Any story that includes the phrase, there was blood all over, that you can live to tell about is a good one. Next up, from 4th grade, Mohammed Syed.
Okay, so one day, I went to Kennedy Lake Park. And that's in New Hampshire. So, when I go over there, I'm going with my brother, my other brother, my sister, and my friend. And then, so we get there, we go through the admissions place, and then we're like, let's go on a roller coaster. So we go on a roller coaster. Fun, all right. Then we go on the extreme frisbee 7 times. And it's basically just this round disc. You sit inside, it goes up, spins you around, and you come down, and everyone's screaming, and you're like, oh, this is really scary. And then after that, we go on a ride called the log flume, which you go up, like, you go in a fake log boat thing. So you're basically going on a track that has water on it. So you go up first like a little hill sort of thing. Then you go through a tunnel. Then you go up this huge hill. And then you go crashing down. And you're like, ah! and if you're in the front, barely any water gets on you. But if you're like in the second seat, you're soaked. Like no matter what you do, it's like, even if you like use a person in the front as a shield, you still get wet. And you're like, how does the person in the front not get wet, but I get soaked? You're like, how is this possible? It's like, and then after that, my friend wants to go on the lava flow again, and we're like, we don't want to go on that. And then we start like arguing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And then I'm like, why don't we compromise? But he's like, but I don't want to go on the lava flow. But I'm like, majority rules. But he's like, no majority rules. So I was like, and then he just walks away. And I'm like, and then I'm like, where are you going? And he doesn't answer. And I'm like, So then, after that, we like look around the forum. We look at the Boston Tea Party. We look at Untamed, Extreme Frisbee, at the water park and everything. After 30 minutes, guess where he was? The log flume. And I'm like, why are you here? It's like, why out of all places do you go here? But it was his favorite ride, which did seem pretty logical for him to go there. And then after that, we have there's like an hour, like not even an hour left. There's like 45 minutes until his mom picks us up. And we're like, what should we do? And then he's like, go on the log flume. And I'm like, did you really just say that after you run away from us and you go on the log flume and you don't even answer us and tell us where you're going? Like, you expect us to listen to you? She's like, and then after that, so we go on the extreme frisbee. But he doesn't want to go on it because he's too scared. And then we're like, okay, we can go on the Ferris wheel. But he doesn't want to go on the Ferris wheel. I say, we could do bumper cars. It's like, I don't want to go on the bumper cars. Then I'm like, we could go on the pirate ship. He's like, no pirate ship. I'm like, then where do you want to go? And he's like, I already told you, the log flume. But still, no one wanted to go on that except for him. And I'm like, you know what? I think we should go to the water park. It's watery like the log flume, but we don't have to go on the log flume. And plus it's closer. So we'll walk over there. And then by that time we have 30 minutes left before it's mom goes. And we're like, going around. And there's this huge bucket that drops water on you. He was standing right under it. And he was like, he didn't see it, and then it dumped on him. And I was like, hashtag unexpected. And then after the water park, his mom comes to pick us up. And then after we tell his mom, I did not want to be here. He was grounded for 2 weeks. Dos. So I didn't want to be here. Grounded for 2 weeks. Man, that's my story.